It's not always alcohol that sends us down the river. Sometimes it's drugs, hard drugs, bad drugs. Two guys today that know the story.
Restoring hope, open my heart to sing, taking the darkness inside, revealing your light, restoring hope, open my eyes to see the world through different eyes, revealing your light, restoring hope.
Welcome. This is Restoring Hope Live, brought to you by the good folks at Unity Point and Powell CDC. If you are in crisis, if you know someone who's in crisis, or more importantly, as you sit back and discern the actions of another, do you see a crisis heading their way? Powell CDC, 263-2424. They're there to help you 24/7. Counselors standing by. As some people may not understand, we do not do a caller ID and then send little guys with white coats out to find you. We are there to help you. We are there to help your family. And most importantly, it's done with great anonymity if that's what you choose. I'm J. Michael McCoy. My co-host today, of course, is the lovely Lila Stafford from Powell CDC. And Bob Montserrat, the cat in the hat, watching the chat. Some people don't know this. Bob was you are a forensic scientist.
Yep, still.
Retired from the state after 35 years and one of the most sought-after experts in the country when it comes to alcohol and alcoholism. So we're glad to have you here. Ryan is producing today, and I had a cancellation on the show today, so I called my friend Dave Pasqua. You know Dave. He comes on once a year when he has a sobriety birthday. Dave is the guy that I just say, "So, Dave, how you doing?" And then I just sit back for like 18 minutes and let him talk. And then I just come up here, and then we do the break again. And then I just sit back. He's great. He's awesome. What a passionate guy. And he said, "Oh, you got to call Big Tim." Oh, yeah? Got to call Big Tim. So I called Big Tim. And if you're watching this on the webcast, you know why he's called Big Tim. You're a big man. But you're not a heavy guy. You're a rock.
Yeah.
What do you do for a living?
I'm a plumber.
Plumber?
Plumber, yeah.
Okay, good. A union plumber.
Yeah.
Good. And because you're not working right now, right?
No.
Just too cold?
Yeah, slow time of year.
Yeah, I bet. So what do you do when it's slow out there?
I occasionally get a side job, and I'll work that.
Yeah.
Comes on radio shows.
Comes on radio shows.
Yeah.
Try and stay busy. You know, I do a lot of meetings, especially
Yeah.
when I'm laid off. I do a lot of meetings. So
Is it harder to stay straight when you're not working?
yes, it's much harder to stay straight when
Just
I'm not
all
working.
that free time.
all
and-
the free time.
So the good Lord lifts you up and brings you alongside some other men at that time so you can help them.
Yes.
All right. Also, he has with him Scotty. These guys have both been sober. Well, I shouldn't say sober. What is it? Clean?
Clean.
For us, it's clean.
Clean.
That's correct.
Because there's no alcohol issues.
I've had alcohol issues, but for me, alcohol is just another drug I use. It's the first drug I used,
Okay.
but I consider alcohol a drug.
But you can't drink and not use your drugs, can you? Did I say that right? Can you drink and just abstain from your drugs and say I'm clean?
No,
They can't do anything. They
when
can't
I-
have any drugs, which includes alcohol.
Yeah,
Right.
Alcohol is a drug.
Okay.
I consider alcohol a drug. If you chemically put it on a board with other drugs and you didn't know what it was, you wouldn't be able to distinguish it from the other drug.
Okay.
Alcohol is a drug. People like to distinguish it and say it's different. Alcohol is a drug. It's the one drug I overdosed on. It about killed me.
Now, what's the difference between their 12-step program and my 12-step program?
Nothing.
Nothing. Do you work with people who are addicted to a drug other than alcohol?
Oh, yeah.
Differently than you work with some? No.
Well, no. No. I mean, it depends if they have some mental issues to go with it. You would have to individualize that. But it's all basically the same. You have to be abstinent from a drug.
The only difference is the language.
Yeah, and also a lot of I call them druggies, but a lot of the people that come in for drugs do. I mean, I'd love to hear you guys say that alcohol's, a drug, but so many of them want to say, well, I've never had a problem with alcohol, so I'm going to continue doing that. And it's like, no, you're going to fight. I mean, anyone that has addictions, you need to admit to yourself, I'm addicted to everything. Anything that feels good, makes me feel, better than I normally do, you're going to be addicted to it because you want more of it.
Okay, good. Well, I think is this the first time we've had?
Well, we've had other people on that may be talking more about their alcohol issues, but they've had drug issues too. But these people, this is their main one. But they're admitting too that they had alcohol.
Okay.
Yeah. For me,
yeah,
it starts with the addiction is the obsession, and then the compulsion to act on the obsession. So for me, now that I haven't taken any drugs for almost 6 years, that can be food, that can be sex, that can be porn, that can be shopping, that can be anything. If I can obsess about it, and then if I don't shut the obsession down right away, then I'm acting on the compulsion. And once I act on the compulsion, I can't stop.
Okay.
And
So that's what I was talking about with the food. With me, I've stopped that obsession in
Yeah.
my head because I don't eat sugar anymore.
Yeah.
And that's what made me act out and want to eat. When it was in my head all the time, pretty soon you're acting on it.
Which is the obsession.
Yeah.
Okay, Big Tim and Scotty, sounds like a morning show. Big Tim, the last time you took any drugs in your body was the 18th day of May in 2009.
the day before.
The day before. Okay, very good. Good job. And Scotty, you're just a few months later, October 15th of 2009.
Right, the day before, the 14th.
Right. Now, let's go back. The first time and I guess we have to include alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the first time you used a drug.
It was alcohol.
Okay, and how old were you?
14 or 15.
Okay, where'd you get it from? You don't have to name names, but
Friends, and living in a small town, it was just a matter of finding somebody who, if I could come up with the money, I could find somebody to buy it for me.
yeah. My guess is you looked older than you were.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
you probably didn't have a big problem buying alcohol.
No, but I had a guy who was a couple years older than me, and if I could come up with the money, he would get it for me.
Okay. And how long until another type of drug began to be part of your using? About the same time, marijuana or something?
Here's the thing: I only drank for 6 months because I overdosed
On alcohol?
on alcohol. I ended up in the hospital and just about died. And so I told myself, okay, I'm an alcoholic. As long as I leave alcohol alone, I'll be fine.
Okay.
So
And you're
then
15 at this time.
I was 16 at that
16.
time.
Okay. And go ahead. I interrupted you. You said to yourself that, okay, I'm an alcoholic.
And as long as I leave alcohol alone, I'll be fine, which I was fooling myself because so then I started using street drugs and anything else I could get my hands on. And that quickly started into the addiction and it was just like the alcohol.
Now, how long, if you started at 14, how many years did you use then?
I got clean. I was roughly 36, I think, 37.
So 22 years.
Something like that.
Well, how about you, Scotty?
I started at a very young age, the age of 8, and I got clean at the age of 50.
Wow, so you had 42 years.
Yes, sir.
Okay. What did we say? You had 22 or 28?
20,
22.
something like that.
Okay. What type of drugs did you use? Everything?
Yeah, I used to tell everybody when I shared in a meeting that if it was going around, it was going down. I mean, I really truly couldn't understand this where people only had a drug of choice because for me, it was whatever. Because I came from a small town, so I couldn't always get the drug I wanted, so I got the drug that was going
available.
around.
Yeah. And is it easier for me to ask you what you haven't used than what you've used?
I mean, probably more so for Scotty than for me.
Okay.
And now that I've been clean, there's new drugs that have come about now that I haven't even, that I wasn't even, because It's been almost 6 years now for me,
Yeah.
and there's new stuff coming along now that wasn't around when I was using. So
Did you ever inject?
I never injected.
Yeah.
I smoked it or snorted it, or it just never developed into that.
A needle.
A needle.
Yeah.
Primarily because coming from a small town, it's just a little bit different than from the big cities. Things are harder to get, and things
Yeah.
are harder to, and so you may not progress as fast as in other places.
So when did you move to the big city?
About the time I got clean, because this is where the recovery was. The town I came from, there was one meeting in the town, and it was an AA meeting, and one meeting a week for me isn't going to cut it.
Yeah.
And so I moved here to where the recovery was.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you. Family other than yourself? You have siblings?
Yes, I have 3 brothers.
And are they involved, or have they been involved in drugs or alcohol?
All of them, and one of them has got an issue, but he's not willing to
Okay.
face it.
That's got to be tough.
Yeah, it's tough.
Can you talk about that, or would you rather not?
No, I can talk about that.
I have bromances with guys in the program, and my heart breaks for them. But I can't imagine a sibling, and you know the road they're going down. You don't even have to discern it. It's your story. And what do you do? I mean, how do you stay away, or do you stay right there? What do you choose to do?
From my experience with others in addiction, I understand that until he's ready to get clean, there's nothing I can do or say that will help him. He has to help himself. Until he makes that admission that he's powerless over his addiction, that there's nothing I can do for him. And so I stay away.
Okay. Younger or older?
It's my oldest brother.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. And your other 2 brothers, I mean, do they call you up and tell you what he's up to and all that stuff, or do you hear through the grapevine, or do you just not listen?
I hear it through my mom. I hear what's going on with him.
And that breaks her heart.
Yeah, it breaks her heart, yeah.
And does she understand that there's nothing you can do right now?
I don't think she fully understands, because she's never had to deal with just through other family members, but she's never been an addict, so she doesn't truly understand.
But I mean, what I guess I'm saying, brother, I hope she's not shaming you, not blaming, but shaming you because you won't get in there and fix it.
No, she knows that he's an adult and he's making his own decisions, and I've had a conversation whether I wish I could help him, but there's nothing I can do for him until he comes to the understanding that he needs to take some active steps to change the way he's living. There's nothing I can do for him.
How do you think he sees you?
I don't really know, because I only see him on holidays, when the whole family gets together. The childhood was kind of rocky, and so not really close with the siblings. I have recovery brothers like Scotty, Scotty's more like my brother than any of my brothers.
Yeah, I can relate to that.
Yeah.
And any kids?
I have one boy.
How old's he?
He'll be 22 in July,
Is he clean?
as far as I know.
Okay. Man, you're one dad I wouldn't want to make mad. I can't imagine that. All right, we are going to take our first break in the program and hear more from Big Tim and Scotty. And this may end up being a couple shows. I'm not sure, because I haven't uncorked Scotty yet. But when you put a quarter in him, buddy, let me tell you, it's a good 15-minute ride. So we may only get through half of both these stories today and then invite you to come back again. This is Restoring Hope Live, a program brought to you by the good folks at Unity Point and Powell CDC, Chemical Dependent Center. It is time that you sat down with somebody and said, I don't know what to do. And you just heard Big Tim say it. Until they're ready, there's nothing you can do. But you can prepare yourself. So when they are ready, you know what's going on. And you can talk to a counselor down there at Powell anytime you'd like. 263-2424. Bob Montserrat, the Cat in the Hat, watching the chat. Lila Stafford, Ryan's producing. And I'm J. Michael McCoy. If I haven't told you lately, thanks for listening. Love this job. Couldn't do it without you. Right here on The Truth, 99.3 FM. Powered by webcast1live.com.
A father who is headed toward another heart attack. A woman who struggles daily with diabetes and her memory. A boy whose headaches keep him out of school. A mother who one morning discovers a lump. A girl whose condition defies diagnosis. You come to us because you need answers, but you also need more. You need understanding of what you're going through. You need comfort. You need to be treated as an individual, not a condition. You need to be included in your own care. You are the point of everything we do. That's why we're changing to Unity Point Health. It's a model of care that will help us work better together, where the physician who knows you best takes the lead, coordinating your care through every step, from the hospital to specialists to rehabilitation to health services in the home and in the community, to making sure the treatments are effective. By working as a team, we surround you with care, helping you manage your health and your conditions, guiding you to making better choices and living a healthier life. The point of Unity is you. Unity Point Health.
Hey, psst. Let me let you in on a little secret. You ready? Always try to do business with people, not places. Especially if you seek honest Christian business people. And when it comes to my car, I really need to trust who's working on it. Now, my family is so blessed. A few years ago, we found a family-owned automobile repair shop that operates as a Christian business also. Open, honest, reliable, trustworthy. It's AMCO on Hickman Road in front of Kmart. And it's a family-owned Christian operating business. This family treats your car as if it was their car. Everything from oil changes to transmission repair and everything in between. So the next time you feel the need to be at peace with your choice of who you can trust with your car, give AMCO on Hickman a chance to serve you. And tell them Max sent you.
Credit cards are like grandkids. They love you, sometimes get out of control, and it's fun to get a new one. Who can stop them from piling on?
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of Des Moines. At the end of the day, you can return the grandkids, but you're stuck paying off bad credit card debt. We'll help you put the fun back into using credit cards responsibly. Right, kids?
Yeah! If you need help getting credit cards off your back, call Consumer Credit of Des Moines.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast 1 Live.
Restoring hope, open my heart to sing, taking the darkness inside, revealing your light, restoring hope.
21 minutes after the hour, good afternoon. This is Restoring Hope Live, a program brought to you by the good folks at Unity Point. I probably shouldn't say good folks. That really sounds Nebraskan. Is that okay?
No, it's okay.
Because you're good folks. Mm-hmm. But, Obama used the term folks the other day and got a lot of crap for it, so I don't want to fall in that category. I don't need that. This is Restoring Hope Live, brought to you by the professionals at Unity Point and Powell CDC, just here to help you learn. I really don't think if you're a drug addict or an alcoholic, you're probably tuning into this show. I don't know. I'm just thinking you're probably listening or watching something else. But your mom's here, or your dad's here, or your sister, or your wife, or your husband, or your brother, or maybe your kid. He's just trying to find help. He's just trying to figure out what dad's doing and what grandpa's doing and what my brother's doing and what my buddy's doing, what my pastor is doing. Drugs and alcohol abuse do not look like you think they do. Okay? Does Lila look like an alcoholic, someone who couldn't handle her alcohol, someone who had to quit drinking because she couldn't handle it? No. Lila is an educated, professional woman, a mother, a grandmother. We come in all sizes. We come in all shapes. We come with long hair. We come with no hair. We come with motorcycle gangs, and we come with mopeds. I had a moped, little orange flag on the top. Can you imagine?
No.
All backgrounds. It is the, and we haven't talked about spiritually, so if I don't want to speak for either one of you guys because I don't know where you're coming from, but what I've discovered and what I've been blessed with is alcohol and drugs are the accuser's number one weapon. Number one weapon to destroy individuals, families, parents and siblings relationships, husbands and wives. Man, it's so easy for him. We've made it so easy for him to come in and disrupt and destroy lives with abuse. I call it the God hole. We're born with it, and God seeks that we fill it with him. Perhaps it's a religion, perhaps it's a relationship. But in the end, we try drugs, we try alcohol, we try sex, we try porn, we try anger, we try automobiles, we makeup, clothes. I don't know what it is. But eventually, you got to sit at the seat of your maker, surrender your life to him as it was intended to be in the first place. We call him a higher power in the programs. And you have to be willing to listen. And as Scotty's going to tell you, as he talks a little bit, man, is life good when you surrender it to the big guy.
Life is wonderful in recovery.
Yeah. When did you start using?
I started using at the age of 8. I lived next door to a fellow who was 17 years old with long hair and tie-dye shirts and a van with flowers and love, peace, and power. And he was the original hippie. And my parents didn't like him, and I thought he was the coolest invention since the napkin.
And he sat over there and smoked a couple doobies.
No, he actually handed me a pill, which was pharmaceutical speed. That was the first thing I've ever done in my life.
How did you feel the first time?
Like the Energizer Bunny.
Okay, and you loved it.
I loved it.
Yeah. Couldn't get enough.
Couldn't get enough.
What'd your mom and dad say? They had to notice that you were all of a sudden
I hit
flying.
it pretty well for a while.
Did you?
Yeah.
But you said for a while.
For a while, because the more I hung out with him, the more they knew something was going on.
Okay.
He took me to my first concert, and I ate my first piece of white paper blotter. It just developed. By 14, I had a needle in my arm. And then I realized that I didn't want to pay for it. So in order for not to pay for it, I had to sell it. I said, wow, I could sell this, I can make money, and I could get high for free. Now that was a ticket at that point.
Were you ever incarcerated for selling?
I have about 30 years in the Department of Corrections on the, I thought I was doing life on the installment plan. I had 5 numbers. And,
I don't know what that means.
That means that 5 times I was arrested, convicted, and sent to prison.
Okay. And that wasn't all here in Iowa?
2 in Illinois, 3 in Iowa.
Yeah, because you're from Chicago.
That's correct.
Big city. Cubs fan?
Yes, diehard.
Sorry.
I know.
I'm a White Sox fan.
I like the White Sox also.
Okay. So, can I be blunt?
Sure.
Mom and Dad didn't like it.
Nope.
Now you're dealing. You're not just using.
Yep.
Hardcore dealer?
I don't
I guess
know.
you went to prison for it. That ain't out no soft walk.
That's all I've ever been arrested for,
Okay.
except for a few traffic violations.
Okay. You said you used for 42 years.
Started when I was 8, sir.
What was the we in alcohol we would call it the jug and the plug in the jug.
The bottom.
Yeah, what was the bottom?
It was a medical bottom.
Okay.
I was in prison, and I had a heart attack in 5:30 in the morning in the kitchen at Oakdale.
How old were you?
49.
49, okay.
And that heart attack led to a triple bypass. And when I was on the gurney getting ready for my operation, I looked over and there was a silver tube, about 7 inches long with a saw on the end of it. And what they call in treatment is a self-talk. The addict self started talking to myself, and I said, you know what? They're about to split your sternum, and you got to this result after all the things in all the years. This is the result of that. And I thought, that's pretty friggin' stupid. So I heard about God, never called upon him. And some people would classify this as a foxhole prayer. But I looked up to the ceiling, and I said, if you would find a way to help me get through this healthy and safe, I promise you I'm going to turn my life around.
Did you mean it?
I meant it. And that's
At that moment.
At that moment,
Obviously,
I meant it.
you mean it now.
And I've meant it since.
Okay.
I am 5.5 years clean.
Okay. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Most naive question I'm probably going to ask all day. Well, no, probably I'll ask a bunch of them. But are there a lot of drugs in prison?
Absolutely.
That's what I was going to ask. Were you using when you were there?
No, I wasn't using this time. I didn't use this time. I was a little bit tired of the lifestyle, and I was wore out. I was glad I got arrested. I got rescued is what I did.
Yeah.
I was really, really tired of everything, and I used against my will for the last 10 years of my active addiction.
Hold on. Back. You used against your will.
Absolutely.
I don't know what that means.
That means that you're using and you don't want to use. That means you're getting high, you don't want to be high. That means that you're doing all the things that you do, and you just don't want to do it.
You're an addict.
But you're doing it anyway. You are definitely an addict, which was one of my biggest stumbling blocks because I didn't think I was an addict because you called me, I rendered a service, you spent your hard-earned money. How does that make me an addict? And I realized that I was just much an addict as anybody else.
Did you go through any relationships?
All relationships.
You have any kids?
I have one child.
Do you see it?
No,
Or,
I
I
lost her to the disease of addiction.
You lost. She's passed on?
No. I don't have any rights to her.
Okay.
She's with a couple in Grimes.
Okay. How old is she?
She's 6. She just turned 6 February 9th.
Where is her bio mom?
She's on the streets.
Okay. And you don't have any right to go get her?
No. I had to give up my rights. When you're in the game long enough, you know when something's wrong. And I knew in my gut that it was a matter of time that somebody had either done a control buy or wore a wire. And I knew I was on my way back to prison. And so what I did was I told on myself. I called DHS and told them there was a man and an apartment and an address that I thought had drugs and a baby girl. And
you called yourself you on yourself?
Yes, I did. I couldn't stop. I couldn't stop dealing. I couldn't stop bringing people in my house like it was Hy-Vee, and she wasn't even a year old. I went and got her from Iowa City, and everybody thought I stepped up to the plate and was such a good guy, and I put her in harm's way over and over and over and could not stop. So I had to call on myself.
That's a very loving thing to do.
I did it out of love.
Yeah.
I knew they were going to do a walkthrough, and when the police come into your apartment or your house and they do a walkthrough, they cannot go through anything. All they can do is go by what they see. And I left a syringe and a spoon in plain sight.
Yeah.
And that's what did it.
Did you tell them that you called yourself in?
No, I didn't tell anybody till later on. I told the DHS worker. And she told me she had a respect and admiration, but that didn't mean anything at the time. You know what I mean? I just knew I was going to prison. I knew I couldn't do anything for her. I knew this was the thing I had to do. So I did it. And I had to get high in order to do it.
Now, I'm ignorant here, so I'm sorry if these are dumb questions.
Doesn't seem dumb.
You have no contact with her?
None.
Can you have contact with her?
Not that I know of. All I know is that I know in my heart, because I thought I was sterile, so I actually spent $400 on a paternity test because I thought my significant other, the baby's mother, was lying to me when she told me she was pregnant, or I thought she was with somebody else. I thought she cheated on me. So I spent $400 on a paternity test and come to find out it was mine. So I know that she's got my genes, so at some point in her life, I don't know, anywhere between 12 and 21 maybe, she's going to say, you know what, I want to know who my biological dad is.
Was she adopted or is she in foster care?
She's adopted. So when she does get to that point, I'm an open book on Facebook and everything else. It will not be hard for her to
But how
find
will
out.
she know your name?
I don't know.
Okay. Wow. Scotty is his name. He has not had a drink or a drug since the 15th day of October in the Lord's year 09. Big Tim has not had a drink or a drug in his body since the 18th of May of 09. Now, Tim, you don't drink alcohol and you don't take illegal drugs. Do you have to worry about other drugs? I mean, if you have surgery, do you say, don't give me painkillers? If you go to the dentist, you don't do Novocaine?
Yeah, that's a good question. So in our literature, we have a pamphlet called In Times of Illness. And it addresses all of that stuff of, if I'm under doctor's supervision and I have medical, I don't have to suffer. I just need to follow the prescription and take it as prescribed. And recently I had a hernia surgery and, I had accountability, people keeping accountable, counting the pills, keeping an eye on it.
Okay.
And so you know, I took those as prescribed, you know, and it helped me get through it. And, you know, they told me, because I was worried about it, and the nurse said, you know, you need to stay in front of the pain, because if you let it go too long and then you take a pill, now you're taking 2 or 3 pills to try and catch up with the pain.
Yeah, I was told the same thing.
And now you're abusing. So take them as prescribed. There's a reason why they're prescribed that way.
Now, you said you had people in place for accountability partners. Your choice?
Yes.
You were concerned.
Yes.
You were one of them.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm
Good
going
for
through
you, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm going through the same thing.
Yeah, you're in remission from cancer.
I'm in remission from cancer, and I've gone through all kinds of pain medications and this and that. In the beginning, I was very adamant, and I thought, you know what I mean, if it was prescribed to take 2 every 4 hours, if I took 1 every 6 hours, I was doing myself justice. I was doing myself just as much harm, because then now I'm having to catch up from 0 every time.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize. And this pamphlet that Tim reflected on was it's called "In Times of Illness," is a wonderful pamphlet, and it's got so much good stuff in there about underdoing and overdoing. You know what I mean? And there's nowhere in our book that says we have to suffer.
We're going to take our next break, and when we come back, is it wrong for me to say this is fascinating for me? Because I don't have anything in the drug world at all. I smoked a little doobie years ago, but I want to find out from you guys. This is the question, and we're going into break, so we'll wait. But why did you use drugs? What was the outcome you wanted? Were you running to, running from? Did it make you taller, more handsome, more sexy, more courage, more? Maybe it's the same as alcohol. I don't know, but I appreciate you guys sharing that with me. Big Tim and Scotty in the house, and we're live here on Restoring Hope Live on The Truth. 99.3, powered by webcast1live.com.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
I'm Brian Leach, owner of Service Legends, and my position is Chief Talent Officer.
I'm Nicholas Wonderscheid.
I am Bernie Homs,
And I'm the Service Manager.
Marketing Director and Client Relations Manager.
Everything that we do is about ensuring that we exceed your expectations.
Our clients are important to us. 100% satisfaction.
We're not just focused on heating and cooling. That's the easiest part of our job, actually, is fixing furnaces and air conditioners.
Everyone that we come in touch with, we want to improve lives.
Bottom line is, we've got our installation guarantees, 25% energy savings guarantee, comfort guarantee, temperature selection guarantee, property protection guarantee.
100% satisfaction guaranteed. Fixed rate or it's free.
All of those guarantees are backed up with a 100% money-back guarantee to hold ourselves accountable to making sure that you get what you're after.
Just fixing the problem today. If they have another problem 5 days down the road, it's still fixed rate or it's free.
We use what's called straightforward pricing. Our technicians are going to give you an exact to-the-penny price on what it's going to take before they move forward with any repair. That way you know what to expect.
It's the same price every day.
No surprises.
If you get off work at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, you come home, you realize that, oh, my furnace is broken. Now you need to call somebody out that night. You shouldn't have to pay more for that.
We're guaranteeing service 24/7.
We run afternoons, evenings, nights, weekends. We're staffed to work that.
Phone rings at 3 in the morning. You'll get one of our representatives answering the phone every time.
We're not sending you out to Timbuktu in some call center. It's our Service Legend team members, our mission control team.
I'll take a call anytime.
And then they answer the phones the same way during the day as they do at night.
It's a great day at your service company. How can we make you smile?
That's the only way to provide true 24-hour service.
When you're able to let somebody actually live in their home safely when they weren't able to do that before, where they don't have to stay up at night and worry about, is the heat going to come back on? Are we going to freeze the pipes? Is the baby in the room next door going to be sick because they got too cold? When you're able to help somebody overcome challenges like that, that's impacting a life. That makes a difference. I get goosebumps thinking about it.
I love the team. I love the people that I work with.
We have fun, but we work hard.
I call them my ambassadors of legendary service. If you could just envision what that is, that's who we're sending to your home.
They literally will call in, pick up the phone and call and say, hey, I want to talk to your manager. And I get on the phone, they're like, that technician that was at my house was the greatest technician ever. That's cool to me.
We want to brighten people's days.
Every person that we have going into the house has gone through an extensive background check.
Drug testing, we have a very thorough interview process that 1 out of 140 people make it through.
If we promise you something, that's what you're going to get, no matter what.
We're here when you need us to protect the safety and comfort of your family.
If you're not happy, we're gonna make it right.
If we're willing to put 100% money-back guarantee on what we do, what type of work do you think we do?
Give us a call. We're there for you 24/7, 365 days a year.
Enough said.
restoring hope. Open my heart to sing, taking the darkness inside, revealing your light, restoring hope.
Welcome back. 22 minutes before the top of the hour, Salem Radio Network News, and then Pastor Michael Mudloff with True Blue from Westkirk Presbyterian Church. A really interesting Restoring Hope Live, at least it is to me. I got Big Tim and Scotty. No, that's not a morning show, although you got to think about it. You two might make a pretty good pair. I've built a couple morning shows in my life. You guys might do pretty good. And they're in the Narcotics Anonymous program. And in their program, they not only have to worry about alcohol, but that's the secondary. The first one is, no, Scotty, is that wrong?
It's everything.
It's everything.
It's all inclusive.
Okay. Food? I mean, you're a little squirt. You don't have a problem eating, don't
You know,
think.
once the drugs are gone, that's just a symptom to the problem. You know, addiction is all about the self-centeredness, you know, the self-obsession, you know. You can be addicted to retail therapy, which is shopping. You can be addicted to food. You can be addicted to sex. Anything that you like and makes you feel good is an addiction if you allow it to be.
You're right. You're right. You really dove into this pretty deep, didn't you?
You know, you can only get out what you put in. And if you're serious about your recovery and you want to change your life, I mean, to be honest with you, Mac, I would drive from 70th and Urbandale Avenue at 4 o'clock in the morning with no license, geeked out of my mind, to go to Watrous and 14th with 3 balls and a flat with no driver. 3 ball tires and a flat tire with no driver's license to go get some dope. So if I can chase my addiction like that, why can't I chase my recovery in the same fashion?
Yeah, I agree.
I love the idea. You were just saying that your room at home is filled with all recovery, and you can lay in your bed and just look at the 12 steps.
And right in front of me is just for today.
Yeah, that's
because
wonderful.
I do my recovery in 24-hour increments. Yeah. And I don't worry about the tomorrows. Tomorrow never comes because I'm always in today.
Yeah, I love it.
Do you, this is one of the first times I'm experiencing this. Is this pretty standard operating procedure as far as the narcotics part of a 12-step program?
Yes.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
okay.
Except these guys are really onto it, and it's so cool to see because it's contagious. You know,
it is contagious.
When you're around somebody and people that really believe in it, it helps other people. I can imagine the people you guys are helping.
You get calls all the time.
Yeah.
I give out my number all the time.
Yeah.
I get calls. I don't care if it's 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
If my only thing is, don't call me after you've relapsed at 3 o'clock in the morning. Call me at 3 in the afternoon. Why should I lose sleep? But if you are thinking about relapsing, you call me at 3 o'clock in the morning. We will talk. We'll go have coffee until 7 o'clock the next evening, if that's what it takes to help you from relapse, prevent you from relapsing. Absolutely.
Now, this started for you with a spiritual moment. Laying on your back, about to have bypass surgery.
That's correct.
You prayed the foxhole prayer, God, get me out of this, and I'll be your servant.
Absolutely.
Or, I'm sorry, I don't want to put words in your mouth.
No, you are putting words in my mouth. And that wasn't how it went. You know, I just said, help me with this and I'll change my life. Okay. Later on, I realized that there was a hole that needed to be filled. And I allowed Jesus Christ in my heart and became saved. And then I loved the idea of the old Scotty dying and the new Scotty being born. So I was baptized at Gray's Lake. And that was wonderful. I have it on DVD, and it's just, that was an amazing experience for me. So now I am the Lord's servant, okay? But at that time I wasn't. I didn't even know what that meant.
Okay. Yeah, what was your relationship with Jesus before this?
If it wasn't tangible, it wasn't there. If I couldn't see it and I couldn't touch it, it wasn't there. That's how I felt. So that was a stumbling block with higher power and the God word, okay? The other thing was I didn't think I was an addict because I sold it. So, you know, it wasn't until I went through a class called Victims Impact with a very nice lady named Mary Roach who showed me and allowed me to see that, no, I didn't have a first response victims per se, but when the ripple effect, all the families that I helped destroy because of the drugs that I was selling really got a hold of me. And then one time I was delivering, and this child of about 10 years old said, when mommy and daddy comes out of the bedroom, they're gonna be fine. And that really impacted me.
What do you
In
mean?
other words, once they ingest the drugs, then everything's going to be okay.
Oh.
But before that, he didn't like the area of what mommy and daddy were doing, how they were acting. But once they came out of the bedroom after they ingested the drugs, then everything was going to be fine. And that really, I at that point, I still went on with my life, but I didn't deliver to that house anymore because I couldn't see that kid.
So you had a conscience.
Somewhat.
You think that was God working on you back then?
It could have been, but I didn't listen. I didn't do anything. I mean, 5 times in prison, 30 years in the Department of Corrections, didn't do it. My bottom was a medical bottom.
Okay.
I was scared.
But it sounded like you had a spiritual experience.
I did have a spiritual experience. That was my epiphany, was
Now,
on that gurney.
Big Tim, did the two of you know each other before you got clean?
Nope.
So how long have you known each other?
3 years.
Okay. So your association comes from both being clean at the same time, and you met at a meeting, I'm assuming, or something like that?
That's correct. Meeting,
Okay.
yep.
And so obviously, Scotty has a passion for helping people, kind of living like today's his last day, and so who can I help today? Does that rub off on you, or is your passion different than his?
I have the same passion, and I do this. Scotty's just a little more vocal than I am. I have to be drawn out a little bit, and I have to feel comfortable with the people I'm around. I don't just open up like Scotty does right away, But once people get to know me, I do better one-on-one with people, than like in a big group. But I help people too, and just by sharing in meetings, people come up after the meeting and say, man, thanks for saying what you said, because that really helped me,
What would you say, and if you don't want to, that's okay, but let's say we're in a meeting for the first time and I'm a week clean and I'm just, give me a term, twerking, jonesing, I'm going crazy.
Right.
Okay. What would be the alcohol
Jonesing.
term? Jonesing? Okay.
Jonesing.
And I don't want to use, and I really don't want to use. And
That's all you're thinking about.
And my dad's going to pick me up after this meeting and take me home, so I know I'm not going to be in the surrounding, but Big Tim, tell me, give me the motivation to keep myself clean one more day.
I would just tell you from my experience that, there's only 2 things you really need to do on a consistent basis, and you'll find some recovery, and that is do not use no matter what and keep coming back. They tell us about all these things like getting a sponsor and doing service work and working the steps, and all that stuff's great, but if you can't stay clean, that stuff don't matter. So the first thing you need to do is you can't pick up. You can't use drugs. You can't use. Do not use no matter what. And then you have to keep coming back so that you hear what you need to hear. And it amazes you sometimes when you're dealing with an issue and you go into a meeting and that's the topic of, or somebody brings it up and they're dealing with the same thing you're dealing with, and it's like bells go off, like, wow, I really needed to hear that, you know?
Yeah.
And I would just tell you that, life gets better. I was right where you were. I was scared, and I was so scared when I got into Narcotics Anonymous because my whole life was turned upside down, and they told me I had to find a new way to live, and this was the only way I knew.
What was your bottom? What made you? His was on a medical gurney.
Well, my bottom, I was sitting at Penn Medical. I had tested positive for a pre-employment drug screen, and they were going to take my career away from me, and I didn't know any other way to make an honest living. And other things had started to compound. My son wasn't talking to me. My family was pulling away from me. Everybody I loved I was alienated everybody I'd loved. And it just all compounded into this one moment at Penn Medical where I tested positive for a pre-employment drug screen. And I just sat there and I thought, this is crazy. I've got to do something else. This isn't working. Yeah.
And you served in the military?
No.
Oh, you've got
my brother was in the Navy.
Okay, good. Is he still with us?
No, he's not with us.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Did he die in action?
No.
Did he die of your disease?
In a roundabout way, yeah. We were camping and we were using drugs, and he had a heart aneurysm right there, and so yeah, in a roundabout way, he shouldn't have been using drugs, and his heart kind of just. So yeah.
All right, we're coming back. It's Big Tim and Scotty, both clean for over 5 years. We'll hear the ending of their story and what their life is like now. It's the good side. It's the cream inside of the Oreo cookie. And it's coming up next live here on The Truth.
A father who is headed toward another heart attack. A woman who struggles daily with diabetes and her memory. A boy whose headaches keep him out of school. A mother who one morning discovers a lump. A girl whose condition defies diagnosis. You come to us because you need answers, but you also need more. You need understanding of what you're going through. You need comfort. You need to be treated as an individual, not a condition. You need to be included in your own care. You are the point of everything we do. That's why we're changing to Unity Point Health. It's a model of care that will help us work better together, where the physician who knows you best takes the lead, coordinating your care through every step, from the hospital to specialists to rehabilitation to health services in the home and in the community, to making sure the treatments are effective. By working as a team, we surround you with care, helping you manage your health and your conditions, guiding you to making better choices and living a healthier life. The point of Unity is you. Unity Point Health.
Credit cards are like grandkids. They love you, sometimes get out of control, and it's fun to get a new one. Who can stop them from piling on?
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of Des Moines. At the end of the day, you can give these grandkids back, but you're stuck paying off bad credit card debt. We can help you put the fun back into using credit cards responsibly. Right, kids?
Yeah! If you need help getting credit cards off your back, call Consumer Credit of Des Moines.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast 1 Live.
Restoring hope, open my heart to sing, taking the darkness inside, revealing your light, restoring hope.
10 minutes for the top of the hour, Salem Radio Network News at the top, and then, of course, it's Michael Mudloff with True Blue, Westkirk Presbyterian. Michael will also be my guest this Thursday on The View from a Pew, so we would certainly invite you to join us all week long. Tomorrow, Bradshaw will be back. Yes, the one and only Bradshaw. Mr. Coates is on Mexico vacation or something like that, so my old radio partner, the flaming left-wing liberal whatever you want to call him, is back, and we'll be talking a little politics tomorrow, and we promise to be good. So thank you very much for joining us. Of course, Lila Stafford here from Powell CDC. Talk to me a little bit about the adolescent program you guys have, because it's awesome.
Yeah, we take teenagers, and I think they come for 3 days a week, and Annie is the counselor, and she went through a program just like that when she was a teenager, so she knows it, and she's such a strong person in the program.
She's been on here a couple times.
Yeah, and she is the perfect counselor for those kids.
Now, these kids would have alcohol or drug abuse, or
Correct.
just behavioral issues.
No, alcohol and drugs.
Okay, and these would be minors.
Correct.
Okay, and they're in an outpatient program.
They're in an outpatient program, and then they do continuing care, which the adults do as well. And then after that, I've just started a young adults aftercare program. So when they're done with treatment, they have a place to come where it's just like 20-some-year-olds, 17, 18,
okay,
and 20-some-year-olds, so that they can actually relate to each other. So we just started that a few weeks ago, and it's going really well.
Good. Yeah, so... you're listening to the story of Big Tim and Scotty, and these guys are, Big Tim, I'm guessing you're 40, and you're almost 50?
56.
50, really? You look good for 50. You're
Thank you.
about 40?
45 this year.
45, okay. And you think, well, that's fine for a grown man or something like that, but how about my 15-year-old? He came home the other day, and, I wasn't born on I didn't fall off the back of a tulip truck yesterday, but I know what pot smells like. And a couple weeks ago, he came home from a quote-unquote party where the parents were around, and I know I smelled beer. I mean, I'm no dummy, I know, but I don't know what to do. I don't know if I should confront him. I don't know if I should say anything to him. I don't want to push him away. I'm scared to death. We're best friends. He used to tell me everything. Well, Powell is an answer for that, too. 263-2424, Powell, CDC, on the campus of Lutheran Hospital and Unity Point.
And, just talking to these two gentlemen, one started at 8, one started at 14. Maybe those are the ages that kids start. And so for some parents are thinking, at 14, my kid's so innocent. But, you really need to be looking at what's going on and who they're running with.
And you and I have made the comment before that 14 seems to be that magical age.
Yeah.
You think that's part of the body changing?
Yeah, probably. And they want to be a part of a group.
Yeah.
It's really important to be in a group. And if one person in the group's, doing some bad stuff, everyone will be. If they have leadership ability.
At that age, the word acceptance carries a lot of weight.
Yeah.
You want to be accepted by people.
Yeah.
You want to be liked.
Yeah.
And if you have to do what you're not familiar with or what you're not used to doing in order to be accepted and liked, by golly, at that age, that's what you'll do.
Yeah.
Now, you said, Scotty, you've been very open about your relationship with a higher power. Where are you with that? I mean, he's bordering on Jesus freak like me.
I was raised in a religious home, but it was the old man was a Jesus freak, but he didn't live it, and so there was a lot of hypocrisy there, and even the church we went to, there was hypocrisy there. And so, it kind of estranged me from, and that was one of the main fears I had when I got into the program, was the whole higher power thing really freaked me out.
Yeah, right.
So much so that, I delayed doing step work because of the number 3 step,
Turn your life and you roll over to a power
right,
of God.
because I was freaked out about it, from the bad experience as a youth. And, I draw a little bit from here and a little bit from there, Mother Nature, Native American Buddhism, some Christianity. I really don't, in my view, there's no perfect religion, but I like to take a little bit here and a little bit there and put it all together to what fits me. They told me that it's not, the great thing about our program is that it's not, they don't force a higher power on you, because if that happened,
you'd be gone.
A lot of people would be gone.
Yeah.
This is a worldwide organization, and not every religion is the same in different regions of the world, and you would lose a lot of people if it was the same. You have to believe in our God, or you can't be part of this program.
Right. I agree. But hopefully you're in a relationship with your higher power.
I do have a higher power.
Seems like you have a great peace about you.
I do. I just have faith that I understand that I know that if I stay out of it, I keep my fingers out of it, and I just let things flow, and I keep faith that somehow things are going to work out. It may not work out exactly the way I want it to, but when it does work out, I need to have acceptance for what it is and then move on.
Have you and your father been able to make amends?
My father is no longer with us.
Okay. And did he pass before you got...
Yeah, I was still using when he passed.
Okay. Can I give you 2 cents worth from a old guy? Actually, you're older than I am.
Thanks.
I knew you'd appreciate that. Hypocrisy is a sin, and it comes out of human nature, and it's not exclusive to a religion or a football game, or a motorcycle club. I know you're a big hunter, fisherman.
Right.
Hypocrisy is just one of those that it's a character defect.
Right.
And everybody has it.
Sure.
And I'm always surprised when I'm with somebody in a relationship. Maybe it's a Bible study, maybe it's hanging out at a meeting, maybe I don't know who it is, and hypocrisy slips in. And I always think, man, I thought I had found maybe that one that was totally accountable to themselves and was not going to be hypocritical. And then it hits us.
All right.
So I don't know where you and your dad are, but give him a little bit of a break, because I just heard my son say, I heard my son come out of your mouth, and I love my boy to death, but he believes I'm hypocritical.
Right. You know, the older I get, the more I understand the old man and the way
Yeah.
he was, because, you know,
Oh, yeah.
you turn into, you
Yeah.
know, to a
Yeah.
certain degree. And so the older I get, the more compassion I have, and the feelings have lessened, and they're not as hard as they used to be, you know.
Good.
And so I have more understanding for him now than I did back then.
Thank you both for coming on. I appreciate it, especially at the last minute. These guys, you got my call, 10 o'clock this morning, something like that? And we'll have you back. I need your phone number there, Scotty Boy.
Absolutely.
All right, Lida, thanks for being here. Bob, thank you for being here. And Ryan, thanks for producing. Until I see you again, which will be tomorrow at 3 o'clock with Bradshaw, think of somebody you can't forgive. Think of somebody you're carrying a resentment against, and it just lives in your brain like poison. Tonight, forgive them, and that's how you'll be forgiven. Have a great day.